Hello, this is Grandma Jan from Red Toad Art Studio, and today I'm actually going to do a redo. I have this watercolor painting that I did a couple, 3 years ago. I was experimenting on some things, and I liked this idea of strips of color and some bright colors in between. It was just interesting to me. So I saw this the other day and decided I wanted to try to reproduce this in a collage. And so I tried that, and I did somewhat. In fact, I even made a video up of it. And this is what I made. But I don't know that I'll ever publish it because I made so many mistakes on that video, and I don't want anyone to follow what I did and make such a mess of it. And as I worked, I saw so much easier ways to do it and accomplish the same thing with a lot less work and a lot less things that just didn't go right. And I'll point out a couple things just for your learning. First, I based this on poster board, like you buy at Walmart or maybe the grocery store or the drugstore. You know those big pieces of poster board? You use them in school projects to make posters and signs. I thought this would make a great backing for my picture. But, do you see all these wrinkles? I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll see if I can get that. See how it's even wrinkled this way? It's just a roller coaster, and no matter how many books I put on top of it, how many times I brayered it with my brayer, how many times I tried to flatten it, it wouldn't flatten. It's just a mess. Now, the idea isn't so bad, and the papers I picked aren't so bad, but the way I put them down, there's a much easier way. And I like the way these little gold pieces look, but they aren't stuck down well. And I think these could be put down in a much better fashion. So we're going to try again. And hopefully this one will be good enough to post and you'll be able to follow it somewhat. So let's get going. Now, first off, I chose the frame I want to put it in. Now, I want it to take up this whole picture, and this is a nice frame. It's about 12 by 15, something like that, and I want to cut it to fit in here. Now, I did not choose a base or a foundation of poster board. I have some paper canvas here that's real old. I don't know what it costs now or if it's easy to get to. I've had this laying around for ages and it's starting to turn yellow. I might as well use it. And it's almost the same size. So the first thing I need to do is cut this down to size to fit my frame. And since it had a mat in it, I am going to measure the size of my mat. There we go. And now I'm going to get that cut down. Then, did you notice in this, really the background of this is black and colored strips are laid on top. And the first one I did, I cut out black strips and pink strips and yellow strips and blue strips. And I cut each one of these separately and fitted them together. It worked somewhat. If I hadn't had it on the wavy poster board, it would have worked. But there's a much easier way to do that. And that easy way is to just make your whole background black. And in order to do that, you have to use two pieces of black paper and cut one of them to size. Now, you will have where they meet in the middle, and you don't want that to show, but that's simple to fix. You just lay one of the strips across that, and you will never know. So the first thing I want to do is to cut these to size. So I will just mark on this one piece of paper where I need to cut. And cut that. There we go. Now the next thing we will need to do is glue these onto my foundation board. Just like that. Now, in order to do that, I am actually still going to use my stick glue. I could use my tacky glue, but the wetter the glue, the more chance of wrinkles. So I'm going to stick with this. But this dries fairly quick. And so I don't want to glue the whole sheet at once. I want to glue part of it, attach my paper, and then lay it down as I go. Let's see how that works. Okay, let's attach our paper. Now don't worry if one edge kind of shows your white. This isn't exactly the same size, but we can either trim it or that will be under the edge of my frame and won't show. So, once we have that end down, we need to add some more glue. This way there's no spots that has glue that's dried, and once it dries it doesn't stick well, and it's a prime spot for a bubble. Okay. And your joint will show quite plainly. You can see it there, but don't worry about that. You're covering it up with another strip of colored paper, so this won't show at all. Now, I seem to be a messy crafter. I get glue all over, and it's coloring my paper, and I don't like that. One way you can help that out is if you have some baby wipes. Now, mine are non-alcoholic. I don't know if it matters if it has alcohol in them or not. I like to gently wipe where the glue got onto my paper, and this helps take it off. But it'll take a lot of those glue marks off that your fingers put on it. And that helps. All right. And while you're at it, take some of that glue off your fingers too. Now, we need to make our strips. And I have 4 different colors here. I'm using blue, and I'm using a pinkish, and a yellowish, and let's see, I'll show you what I'm using. There's my pink. Here's my blue. Here is my yellow. And then it will be set off by a darker pinky red. And these all need to be torn into strips, and I just do that by hand because I like these rough edges. Now you'll need to decide what your middle strip will be, the color it will be. And then we usually, in this one, I kind of rotated, but just kind of play with it. See what you like. I'm going to choose a pink at each end after the black. There's a black here and a black here, a pink here and a pink here. So I need 2 strips of pink, one for the top and one for the bottom. And we just tear these strips by hand. Now notice, if I tear this way, the white goes on the bottom of the strip. If I tear this way, they will appear on the white. And I like that white showing on these. I don't know. Now, so you can decide what you want there. So just tear you a couple strips down. Some of this is kind of hard to tear by hand. And if you find that you're really having trouble, get a paintbrush and some water and just lightly put water along your tear line. Let it set a couple seconds and then it will be easy to tear. Right here. It will lay across here. And I tell you, let's just leave it there and let's get our other pink strip. And there we have that strip. All right, then let's do a yellow strip next. And I'll need 2 strips of yellow. And I don't want this straight edge. So I will need to tear off the edge. Now this happens to be fairly heavy duty cardstock paper. And it is not as easy to tear as your scrapbooking paper is. But that's all right. And you know, I even keep these little strips because if you make miniatures of this style, these come in handy. So lay that aside. Now, we need to make our second strip. We want some humps and bumps in it too to make it interesting. Let's get our second strip while we're here. Now I should have torn that on the other side, I guess, because the white went on this side and not on this side. But you know, that's okay. We have 2 of those now. Let's try for 2 of these. Now, I'll turn it over to tear it, then I'll get the white on this side too. I should have done that with my other one. And then I'm going to tear a nice blue strip. And I want the most intense blue I can get. So it needs to be here. And I think I'll make it a little whiter than the others were. I can always trim it down. But I want that white to show. This side. I think we'll trim this down a little bit. Okay, let's bring our black piece and see how these will fit now. We have that and that. We just want a little black showing between. We don't need a lot showing between. And then our big blue strip. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so let's glue our strips down. Get a glue paper here that will protect your desk. And start at the top, and let's glue our strips. Remember to come down a little bit and leave some black there at the top. And I'm going to get my brayer and just brayer that down. And if we go over the edge, which we definitely will here, if our strips were from a 12-inch paper, we can clip that off later. Okay, let's do our yellow strip next, right there. Now I'm going to go down here and get this pink strip and this yellow strip. I think that will go that way. Now I also, if I have a straight edge, like to use that to put here on the left and line them up by that straight edge. Okay, let's get our yellow strip. We'll turn our glue sheet over. I'm going to have to get a new stick of glue. Well, I got me a new glue. I don't know about you, but I go through glue like crazy. Okay, our yellow will go right here. Now I need to eyeball it. Be sure I leave plenty of room for my blue, although I could tear it smaller if need be. This will need to go there. I may have to tear it a little bit smaller, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and put this I'm not sure what color to call that. Mauve? Mauve? Dark pink? Anyway, whatever it is, let's glue it down. Let's get this one. And let's make sure it covers our line here. No one will ever know we have that line except for you and me. All right, now we may have to tear our blue down a little bit. Yes, I will tear some of my blue down. There we go. Maybe this one should go. Okay. Let's glue the blue down. There we go. All of our strips are down. Now I haven't quite figured a way to add the gold that was on this one because it did not stick well. It's coming up and I'm sure it would fall off pretty soon. So I don't know. I might try it with my metallic pen. I'm not sure. I think it would look nice to have a little gold. Shall we try it in one spot? We need to cut this off too. It's still gluey, so we'll leave it there. Now, this doesn't show up though as much as that was gift wrap paper, and it showed up really good. And then this doesn't show up quite as good. In fact, let's try it on a scrap of black paper and see what it looks like. Now, this is Painter's Metallic. It's the gold. It says antique metallic, but it's a gold color. Oh, here it says gold deco. And there's another word there that I can't make out. The number is 240671702, and I got this at Walmart. So let's see what it looks like on black. Ooh! It looks pretty neat. Will it look like that after it dries? Some of these pens, I don't know if you've noticed, you put them on and they look right, and they dry and they disappear. See what that does. I don't think that's going to disappear. So let's put just a few spots of gold, like at the corners, and just a few scattered up. All right, I want to put some up here. I think I'll turn it around so I can reach it. Now, I wouldn't want to do a very big piece with this because it goes on slow, but you could also try gold acrylic paint. That can be neat. However you want to do it, or just don't put the gold there at all. It doesn't have to be. I didn't have gold on this one, and it worked out. So, there's my little corner of gold. And I'll put one down here, which will actually be up here when I turn it over. This won't be so glittery and shiny as that pretty gold on my other one, but it shouldn't fall off either. Let's do one in here. We don't want very much, just spots of it. And maybe a spot here. I have to remember this is paint and it's wet like paint. Okay. Now I want to do a little bit more mark making on this after I cut these edges off. I had dots on the end. Now you can either make these with acrylic paint. Just dip your end of your paintbrush or a pencil tip in the paint and stamp it straight down, and it'll make great dots. You won't get dots of different sizes. If you're good at it, just paint circles, or you can use the Posca pens. All right, let's cut these edges off, and then we can make some more marks. Okay, time to give it a good roll, a good brayering. Well, I'm doing it from the back, and I'll do it from the front again to get rid of any wrinkles that might be forming. I imagine if you've tried any collaging at all, you'll know that wrinkles are the bane of the business. And it's the one thing you don't want, and it's the one thing you always get. And I am trying so hard to find ways to eliminate the wrinkles. And gluing well, being sure I don't have big spots that are unglued where it doesn't stick and the paper sticks around it. And brayering it helps a lot. Okay, now, I did things like dots and lines, and I think we'll try that next. Now, on this one, and it was kind of neat, is I added little fish. Now, unfortunately, I found those little fish on a tiny scrap of paper, and I don't have any more of them, so I think I'll put some flowers on this one. But before that, let's put our dots in. The one thing about a Posca pen on black, you have to go over it 2 or 3 times. This white really shows up much better than the white Posca pen. You might have already found different things that make good marks, and if you do, use what you have. But I'm just going to make some circles, and I'll go over them more than once. I have found that it works best not to press too hard with your Posca pens. Maybe that allows the paint to flow better. And these tips are kind of fragile. Now I'm going to do the bottom black the same way. And we have to remember, try to remember, that this is paint and it will be wet, and try to keep our hands out of it until it dries, which can be easier said than done if you're a messy grandma like me. Okay. Now the other thing I'm going to use to make marks is just my black Sharpie fine point. And I think we're going to polka dot the pink and maybe stripe the yellow. So let's get at that. This takes a little bit of patience. Polka dots are easy. But they tend to want to look like little streaks instead of little circles, like that one was. I think I'll make one every once in a while big to make it look like I did that on purpose. I actually didn't, but now that I did, every once in a while I'll have a big one. And I meant to do that. Of course I did. My fingers just didn't make a mistake there. Just one big one in the group would look weird, but several big ones, it makes a pattern. Okay, now to the pink at the bottom. Okay, I like these lines. I think I will do that on my yellow set here. I'll turn it around. This might be a little drier here. And do these. There. Shall I do, let's see, on this one I did a different design than on the other yellow. I don't think we need to do a design on this one. Well, let's do it. Now, I think I will hunt for some flowers to put on here. Now, there's other things, and I will link to them. I have done some others like this, where we have done strips and put words or sayings on them, like Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and use Christmas colors or your favorite sayings, and those are really fun to do. Okay, and you can use any kind of images you want, like my little fish that I put on here. And I liked my little fish, I really do. But I'm going to hunt for something to put on here, and I will be back with you when I find something. Well, I'm back. I searched through my materials and decided to use some flowers from my Collage Soup Flower Power. And they have so many pretty flowers in here. In fact, I hate to cut them out. But I did. I cut, I think, 4 flowers out of this beautiful book. And I will try to remember to put a link to this in the description box. Now, unfortunately, somewhere along the way, I lost some of my footage. And I was showing you each of the flowers I cut out. And I cut out these 4 flowers, and I pasted them on, and then I promptly lost that footage. But I think you don't really need to see me paste these on, because we did all this, we had it ready to go. I found my flowers, I cut them out, I inked a little bit around the edge, and I pasted them down. And I think they look great there. And there's one more step I want to take. I want to outline these flowers with a little black so that they show up more. I hope that's a good decision. At this stage of the game, when you're almost done, it's really kind of scary to add something like black lines where you're not sure if it would look better or not. But let's go for it. We'll try on the corner of this bottom one and see if it seems like it's going to look okay. And if it doesn't look okay here, I won't add it to them because I really like my picture. There. I don't know, I don't think it hurts it, and it does stand out a little more. So I think I will go ahead and outline these flowers. There we go. Our second flower's done. Let's get this one. And by the way, I am using my Sharpie fine point. Three down and 1 to go. I'm not sure that I actually like that more. I liked it well before, and it's okay now, and I'll get used to those lines being there. But I'm not sure that it really helped it that much. Okay, there we are. The flowers may just stand out a little bit more. I'm not sure that I helped it with the line, but I don't know that I hurt it either. But you never know till you try. Now I need to frame my picture. I have a frame that is to hold an 11 by 14 inch picture. And that's what this piece has been cut to, 11 by 14 inches. And I just love the way this frame is made. It is so easy to take pictures in and out. These are made to be pushed out by hand. And then this is not actually glass. It's some kind of plastic. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's so nice and light to hang on the wall. But when it's up, you'll never know it's not a piece of glass. So I'm going to put my picture right in there. And this one can be hung or either set on a desk or a shelf. And then it just has these that are pushed in. And you're done and ready to hang. And there is our picture. all done. I hope you have enjoyed being on this journey with me. This is a technique I want to do with some different colors and different pictures and images and maybe some sayings on them. And I hope this has inspired you to try some of your own. And I hope you're having a wonderful, good, fantastic, delicious crafting day. Bye-bye for now.